Ski fly that W. Welcome in to another edition of the PHNX D-Backs podcast from right here at Almost Home in Chicago. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as the mayor of Wrigley Field and possibly the Diamondbacks' biggest good luck charm in the history of this team's existence. Welcome in. Of course, we are joined by my man, Jacob Franklin, a.k.a. Faj, on the ones and twos. Jesse Friedman will be joining us here from that beautiful building across the street. But the Diamondbacks win in a game where there was not a lot of offense. The Diamondbacks win this one over the Chicago Cubs by a score of 3-0, securing the series win. Not a lot of offense, like I said, by either team in this one. We're talking 10 hits total by both teams combined. The Diamondbacks squeak by with a couple of home runs, including a very big one from Corbin Carroll. They have a chance to now sweep this series tomorrow here on Sunday. We could be here to cover their second sweep of the year.
Bring out the brooms.
Bring out the brooms. Well, I might have a little tiny broom. I don't know, but I'm not gonna wave it in these people's face because we are a little outnumbered. Yeah, we're a little outnumbered here in a Chicago Cubs bar. We got a Javi Baez jersey right here in my face, and I love that. But of course, Diamondbacks do take this game, and they've won a lot lately. The Diamondbacks are now 10-4 in the month of July. 25-16 since June 1st.
Hey, Derek, is that good?
We tried to warn you.
Dare I say that I told people to RELAX?
Yeah, we said relax. We also said don't let this team get hot. We said absolutely what a mistake this would be. And you let this team get hot without Jordan Montgomery, Eduardo Rodriguez, or the mainstay, Merrill Kelly. So it's going to be interesting to see what this team is and how this team can possibly get better with the way that they're playing baseball right now. But we also tried to warn you that they were going to be fine. I guess the question on a lot of people's minds is Zac Gallen fine? Is Zac Gallen fine? And I guess it's a valid question because it was another short outing for the Arizona Diamondbacks ace. And of course, we actually have video from Torey before the game. He was asked by our very own Jesse Friedman about starting Zac Gallen and about starting him, giving him that extra day of rest and not starting him in yesterday's game. This is what Torey had to say.
We got after him full throttle. He was every fifth day, didn't have the extra day. And I know we could create extra days in different ways and different times, and we just thought it would be a good landing spot for him today. Zach likes to throw when we're on the road. He likes to throw night games. That was part of it. But just giving him an extra day, we thought, because of how hard he worked to get back, and he was the one guy that went every fifth day for 4 consecutive starts. We thought the extra day would do him good.
And I mean, that Torey knows what he's doing there a little bit with Zac Gallen, but obviously, I mean, the extra day off didn't really give Zac Gallen the ability to be as sharp as we've seen him. I mean, today was by far at least as far as his command and his control, one of the outings we've seen Zac Gallen struggle the most, maybe this season, maybe all year. Actually, Jesse pulled up the numbers, and the game that he had the least amount of pitches thrown in the strike zone at like 33% was opening day against the Colorado Rockies. But today was another day where he was not landing a lot of his pitches in the zone. I know Jesse is going to want to talk about that a little bit more when he joins us, but Zac Gallen tied a career high with 6 walks today. You
can't even count that on one hand. Try.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're right. I can't count it on one hand.
That's too many.
It's too many. And in fact, he hasn't had more than 4 since 2020 in a game. Zac Gallen has not had more than 4 walks in a single game since 2020. This tied a career high from his rookie season, I believe, with 6 walks. But he's still Zac Gallen.
How many runs did he give up? Go ahead and count that on one hand, Derek.
0. He gave up 0 runs. And he was still able to bend but not break, right? Zac Gallen's line today, 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 6 walks, 4 strikeouts. And again, it's not great. It's not his best outing, but it's just amazing that Zac Gallen is so good that even on a day where, like, people, I think we had somebody tweet us that Zac Gallen is not worth, paying for, essentially extending or bringing him back. And that's insane to me because Zac Gallen is a great pitcher based on the fact that even when he doesn't have his best stuff, he still goes out there today and gives you 5 innings scoreless. And not a lot of guys are able to do that on a night where they're not really able to have their best command and really not hit the strike zone, especially with his fastball. But since 2022, Zac Gallen has recorded the most games in Major League Baseball with 22, with 0 earned runs allowed while tossing 5 innings or more. He has recorded 5 games just this season about that. So, I mean, again, do we panic on a night where Zac Gallen goes 5 scoreless and the team wins? Because that seems kind of silly.
I mean,
I know his last outing wasn't great.
He's been off and on. He's been a little rough.
Yeah.
I don't think it's time to panic just yet. Like, I think I mentioned this. I'm not sure if I mentioned it on the show or just in passing, but Zach is one of those guys that, like, you don't expect your ace to go out there 30 starts a year and be cash.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's hard to do in the big leagues.
It is hard to do. And
there's a reason these hitters get paid money.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, like, the Cubs offensively are not all that great of a team. He killed himself with walks today. I mean, he only gave up 3 hits.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like he got just, like, hit hard. I mean,
he wasn't able to land his strike zone.
He just wasn't there.
He wasn't able to land his fastball in
They'll
the
be
strike
fine.
zone.
Yeah,
Right.
he'll be fine.
But see, that's the thing is the Diamondbacks have a bullpen full of certified Gs and bona fide studs, and you can't teach that. Well, Papa Paul sometimes gives us a little bit of a heart attack in the 9th inning, but all the rest of these guys do is put up zeros. J-Mart is back, Gink is Gink, and tea time is tea time, right?
I love that they put J-Mart in tonight.
Yeah, just
Loved
showing
it.
that confidence for him to
7th
get
inning,
back out.
3-0 game.
Yeah.
Go get him, kid.
Get back out there.
Go get him, kid. And he showed out.
He seems to be back after a rocky appearance on Friday. 1 innings pitched, 2 strikeouts for J-Mart. You got Ginkel going out there. 1 inning pitch, zeros across the board. No hits, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. Tea time also putting up zeros. 1 inning pitched, 0 hits, 0 earned runs allowed. I mean, this bullpen is good. And I can't believe that those words came out of my mouth, but it's the truth. This bullpen is good. And honestly, right now they're running on all cylinders. Like you said, you're not going to get every pitcher, including guys in the bullpen, to continue to go out there every single night and do this. But they'll do this the majority of the nights lately. They're able to hold a close game, and that is not something that this bullpen or this team was able to do early on. So that is something that's different because this was a night where the offense did not do much. The Diamondbacks just putting up 3 runs, you could easily say that's a night where they lose, right? The majority of their offense all came in the 5th inning, right? You had Alek Thomas hit a home run? Do we call it a home run?
I mean, it counts in the scorebook.
It does count in the scorebook as a home run.
It did count as a run.
A 363-foot home run to left field that just barely cleared the little left field bleacher thing that makes it a home run. So it was a home run. In fact, it only would have been a home run in 2 stadiums in all of baseball. Jacob, I'm going to let you guess the second one. Obviously, the first one is Wrigley Field. What is the only other ballpark that this would be a home run in?
Yankee Stadium?
Minute Maid Park.
Interesting,
right. You got that little kind of left field thing over there that's kind of short, right?
Yeah, that's really interesting. Elise brought up a point that I want to make sure we get to before it's
please
buried in the chat.
By the way, wait, hold on. Let me address that. I love you, chat. And as much as I miss Jesse, I think I miss when he's not here. And I miss Jesse all the time. I'm always worried about him. I miss you guys more. And I can't see your comments necessarily live. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of Cubs fans that can't wait to boo me in here. So I apologize if I'm not getting to your comments, especially while we've been here in Chicago as often as I would like to. But, of course, we love you guys. We thank you so much for being here tonight. And, of course, we also I love the fact that Corbin Carroll hit a 2-run home run. What
Wait,
was the comment about Elise?
You didn't let me get to my
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Elise says getting out of the 5th with no runs was a pivotal point in the game. Shout out to the Ivy for the ground roll double.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And not only shout out to the Ivy, shout out to Lourdes so quickly throwing his hands up.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what's so interesting?
Because you let that runner get around third while you're trying to fiddle around in the Ivy and you're fucked.
It's so wild. This is so wild. You know how sometimes things happen and you're almost like, wow, that was like fate, right? Not for Lourdes, not for this game, for me.
Sure.
I was walking past a tour that they were giving at Wrigley Field today before the ballpark was open.
Sure.
And as I was passing by, the tour guide was explaining to them that outfielders have to raise their hands whenever it goes. He was explaining the whole
Otherwise
thing
the
as
play
I walked
continues.
by. Otherwise, the play continues. And you're absolutely right. Lourdes knew exactly what to do. Obviously has played in this ballpark before. And you know, it was the right call.
He did it. No, I mean, he did it almost immediately. The ball jumped in. The ball jumped in, and he wasn't even close. And he just
so
goes,
funny.
nope.
I watched him for a good, minute, maybe 90 seconds, search for the ball. Because, it's out of play, but he was still trying to, find the ball.
Buried. It was buried.
Find it.
Yeah, it was buried. I never saw him pull it out.
In the Ivy.
I never saw him pull it out.
I would love to know how many baseballs are lost in that Ivy.
I bet there's a crew at the end of the night that goes through
in there and picks it out.
That's because there's only one ball that entered. So, you send 5 people out there to just kind of, reach into the Ivy and grab it. You probably could find it. I mean, it's just a really heads-up play, and it's little stuff like that this team has always done well.
Yeah, it was impressive, and, of course, it was a pivotal play. There was a lot of, Zac Gallen almost had things fall apart on him, but luckily he was able to hold it together, and luckily the offense gave him just enough. Corbin Carroll hits a 2-run home run in the 5th after Geraldo Perdomo walked. Of course, it starts with some sort of Geraldo Perdomo action. But at 418 feet, it was his longest home run this season. So as much as people on Twitter don't want me to say it, I don't care. Corbin's back. He's back, folks. He's back.
Okay.
He's back, Jacob. Yeah, he's back. I'm declaring it.
The chat can't see my face right now, but I'm kind of just
he's holding his nose.
I'm a little buried in shame over here.
Yeah, that's fine.
I did watch him stare at 3 curveballs down the middle yesterday.
That was not great. Also, Joc Pederson getting hit by a pitch, not great. Joc Pederson seemed to be fine with it, but Torey Lovullo, he was very much not fine with it. He did not like it. And I think he didn't like it because he thought it was retaliation for the 2 home runs hit by Alek Thomas and Corbin Carroll. And the Fleece are, of course, resting someone. Because
those 2 guys didn't pimp anything.
No.
Alek Thomas had no chance to pimp his.
I don't know. Do you, in a game that's still that close, do you intentionally hit people? I mean, I think that's the thing is, and as Elise says, we've been here too many times before in regards to Corbin. Yeah, I know. But it's also one of those things where with this team, they've been hit a lot. They have been hit a lot, and Torey needs to protect his guys, and I get absolutely why he went out there because even though it didn't feel intentional, I missed what happened. I don't know if you saw a better view of it because, of course, we were in the press box.
The Joc?
He
threw behind him the pitch
before, right?
And then he hit him on the next pitch.
And then it kind of rolled over his foot, yeah.
But like I said, Alek had no chance to showboat his. It was a wall scraper. He was running hard out of the box.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Corbin, I don't know. I mean, other than maybe 1 or 2 times, I don't know if I've ever seen him bat flip, do anything other than put his head down and run.
Yeah.
I mean, there's maybe one instance, the Corbin Burns homer in the playoffs last year, he kind of stood there for a second, watched it, but he doesn't pimp his homers.
Yeah, no, you're right. Our guy CWP in the chat said CHGO got tired of y'all and decided to call the cops to send you back to Phoenix. Early.
They've tried.
That would be the second time. Greg Braggs, not only did he call the police on me when we were at Murphy's, but he tried to get the security guard in the bleachers section to arrest me, and that's definitely not his jurisdiction. That security guard can't arrest me, Jacob,
no.
I don't believe, so I don't know what he's trying to do.
Braggs just really wanted us arrested because we were invading all of his favorite places and riddling them with the success of the snakes.
Go, snakes,
Hey, Derek,
go.
what year is it on the Chinese calendar this year?
It's the year of the snake, Jacob. It's the year of the snake. Oh, man. Well, of course, that's pretty much all they got from the offense tonight. And going back to Joc Pederson getting hit, Torey is Torey. Torey is a dad. Torey is a dad through and through. In fact, Torey told us a wonderful story you should all check out right now on YouTube that we have a clip of about going to see his son Nick manage the South Bend Cubs. His son is the High A affiliate manager of the South Bend Cubs, which is part of
story.
It's an amazing story. It's a great story because it just goes to show, like, one, how busy a man like Torey Lovullo is, where it's been a significantly long time since the last time he just watched a baseball game as a fan, and also the amount of love he has for his kid. And I mean, I think that transcends over to the way he runs this team. It's why people play so hard for him, and it's why, up to this point, he's done such a good job, especially with young guys entering Major League Baseball and turning into, guys that give you what you got today, and it was the young guys doing it today. We talk about, again, Corbin Carroll, Alek Thomas. Neither one of those guys have great numbers this year, but that's the guys that got it done this year, today. And this is a team today that had Alek Thomas and Corbin Carroll do it, but tomorrow could have somebody else do it.
This team is built exactly this way.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter who it is. It can be any given night, and somebody's going to contribute something big.
Right.
It's Jerry, it's Corbin, it's Alek, it's Christian Walker. I haven't even named Ketel Marte. Joc's done it numerous times. Lourdes has done it. Gabby's done it. Like you go down that list of lineup names. Where's the weakness? Jake McCarthy hasn't played in the first 2 games back from the All-Star game.
Yeah, Jake McCarthy.
He's hitting 280.
And people wanted him in there yesterday, and that was honestly a debate we had amongst each other today at lunch. We were talking about.
You and Jesse agreed.
Right. Well, I mean, you gotta. Corbin is your star in a way, right? Yeah. And Corbin is the guy that you need to get right. Jake has actually done a great job contributing in a limited capacity when he's called upon, and honestly, that's something that I don't know if you want to mess that up right now. But I will also say that, like, my first thought was against a lefty, we should see Jake McCarthy in the lineup, right? So, and that's because the numbers don't lie. And Jesse will tell you the numbers don't lie later when we do that bit. But we got another bit to do, and that bit is naming our king snake. And I mean,
a lot of the chat wanted the Ivy. It's not the Ivy. We aren't creative enough to think about that, but that was.
You know what?
That is great. I know, it is great.
Oh, the Ivy probably should have gotten it.
But if there is a second choice, it makes a lot of sense. Go ahead, Derek.
It's our guy. Jake. Excuse me. Would I say Jake? It's Alek.
Jake's in Wrigley Field jail, according to Elise.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm looking at the comments. It's Alek Thomas. Alek Thomas is our king snake. Our guy went 2 for 4 today. He had that home run. And he also is engaged, which I don't know if we congratulated him enough, but congratulations to Alek Thomas on coming out here to Chicago and basically moving on to that next phase in your life. And it's very cool to see. I know Chicago is a big part of his life, so it was cool for him to have that happen here. And it was also an absolutely stunning engagement video, by the way. Dudes, you guys better step up your game if you want to.
Yeah,
have
Alek Thomas
video.
he raised the bar.
He really did. We're going to talk to him about that tomorrow, and obviously we're going to also talk to him about this home run. We also have to talk to Bryce Jarvis and Brandon Pfaadt about being sent on a coffee run today.
Oh, I don't know how we missed that.
Full uniform. They were sent on a coffee run out in the streets of Chicago, which these streets, they're never empty.
There's always Cubs fans.
The streets are always talking, and there's always lurking. Cubs fans out there. They're always lurking, but we're going to talk to those guys about going and get coffee in their uniforms. But we thank you guys so much for being here in the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do so now. Sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss whenever our shows go live. Drop us a like just for my own personal self-esteem. If you're listening on the audio podcasting side, make sure you subscribe in your favorite audio podcasting app. Leave us a review. We always love hearing back from you guys. And, of course, those 5-star reviews mean the absolute world to us. Of course, right now I am not drinking a Four Peaks beer because we are in Chicago at Almost Home. Shout out to Almost Home for giving us a home while we've been here. But the first course of action when I get back to Phoenix is to have myself a Bad Birdie Juicy Golden Ale. It's on my list of things I miss. It's like my dog, Cosmo, and then my wife, who I love very dearly, but Cosmo first. I want to make sure that's, we're
well aware.
It's Cosmo, and then because I've told these guys, like, I need to FaceTime my dog regularly. So it's Cosmo, then my wife, then Bad Birdie Juicy Golden Ale, and my daughter. And then my daughter, well, she's in there somewhere too, but she's 13, and you can understand that, I guess, I hope. But I do miss Four Peaks very much. And, of course, you don't need to if you're in Arizona. Make sure to go out, get yourself a delicious Bad Birdie Juicy Golden Ale or all of the wonderful beers that that Four Peaks has to offer. Bad Birdie does golf. They don't do beer unless
Chris
they're doing it with Four
Dog
Peaks.
Beer Wife. You missed it.
Dog Beer Wife. Dog Beer Wife is probably more accurate, but of course, make sure to follow Four Peaks at Four Peaks Brew and at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest Arizona's hometown brewery. Visit fourpeaks.com/locator to find all your favorite beers and events. Must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and please drink responsibly. Also, big shout out to Bet365. We love Bet365. Bet365 was an innovator when it comes to live betting, and they have the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting across 78 sports, including esports, including this WNBA versus Team USA All-Star game going on right now. So make sure to get down on the action, of course, especially with baseball, because with the Bet365 baseball early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes up 5 runs ahead with an instant payout. Parlay and same game parlay selections will be marked as winners as well. So again, your team goes up by 5 and you win. Right now, new customers can choose between 2 offers when they open up an account at Bet365. Use the code PHNX365 to sign up, deposit $10, and choose either between a bet and get offer where you can place a $5 bet or more and receive $150 in bonus bets, or a first bet safety net offer by placing up to $1,000, and if your qualifying bet loses, you will receive a match refund in bonus bets. So download the Bet365 app now and use code PHNX365 when you sign up. Choose your offer and find out why it's never ordinary to bet at Bet365. Must be 21 and over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov. Well, Jacob, there wasn't a lot to look at. There's not a lot of numbers to look at here, but we are going to take a look at the count presented by our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union. And let's take a look at these numbers tonight. The Diamondbacks outscore the Chicago Cubs by a score of 3-0. They out-hit the Cubs 6-4, but that's it. 10 whole hits in this game. Both teams 0-4 when it comes to runners in scoring position. The Diamondbacks were 0-4. The Chicago Cubs 0-7. Diamondbacks had those 2 key home runs that obviously gave them the win today to the Chicago Cubs. 0 home runs. But the Cubs did out-hit the Diamondbacks when it came to hard hit percentage. 50% hard hit percentage, 39.3% for the Diamondbacks. But nobody cares about that because the only hard hit balls that matter are really the ones that go over the fence, and the Diamondbacks had those. So, of course, this is an incredible night. Incredible win for the Diamondbacks, and they have a great chance here to go to Sunday and get just their second sweep of the season, which still does not seem right. That doesn't compute that the Diamondbacks have only had one other sweep this year, but it's kind of the way they play baseball,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, they're only 3 games over 500, right?
Yeah.
Like, as hot as they've been, they're only 3 games over 500. So, like, the underlying numbers don't necessarily look the way you would think that they would look, but if they seal the deal tomorrow, like, we're talking about maybe the hottest team in baseball at this point.
Here's the thing. Let's not remember. Well, we probably shouldn't remember it. Let's not remember it. But let's not forget last July and how bad it was for this team, right? If the Diamondbacks struggles,
Straight out of the All-Star break, it was not good.
If the Diamondbacks struggles can be behind them, and at this part of the season, they can start getting better and adding pieces back that they've been missing. Key, crucial pieces, like their 3/5 of their starting rotation. This team really could be a dangerous team when the playoffs come around. And again, like I've said, despite the fact that we have very much been frustrated by this, very much not wanted, to have to watch this team go through what they've gone through, at least they went through it early, right? Other teams are struggling now. Other teams are starting to lose players to injury now. And who knows? I mean, the Diamondbacks might still need some of the depth they have coming down, as the season gets closer and closer to the end of the year. The one thing that's good, though, of course, and I know Jesse talked to Mike Hazen a little bit about it today, is that, the Diamondbacks are moving further and further away from any consideration of being sellers when the trade deadline comes here at the end of the month. And it is important, right? Because there's a big cluster here in the National League.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah,
they know that they might be on the chopping block if it came down to it. If they don't perform, right?
But what a good way to perform! Like, that's extra pressure. One of the things
absolutely.
I blamed the season on has been too much pressure, too high of expectations, right? So it's like this is extra additional pressure, and they're reacting well to it. They're playing well to it. I mean, they have kind of been under pressure all season long. And that's what happens when you come off of a World Series. Yeah. Whether you won it, whether you were just in it and you lost, you feel that pressure. You feel those expectations. And again, call them what you want. The expectations are there. So we'll see if the Diamondbacks can continue to win, and we'll see if they can get this sweep tomorrow. One really great conversation I had here in Chicago was with Christian Walker about Bryce Harper's comments. Today I got a chance to chat with Walker.
I love this.
And, man, it was really cool because I was just curious myself if he had heard Bryce Harper's comments. If you haven't, we actually tweeted the video out earlier today, and it was during the red carpet event in Arlington during All-Star Weekend. And basically Bryce Harper was asked in regards to, him as a player and him as a first baseman, and he was trying to say that he's trying to evolve his game and get better to be one of the more athletic first basemen in baseball, and he wants to be able to play better defense. And he actually brought Christian Walker's name up as one of the people that he feels like he's kind of emulating. And Christian Walker very, very much appreciated that. He hadn't actually heard the exact comment, but he kind of heard Bryce Harper said something nice about him. So I kind of told him about it, and he respects Bryce a lot, and he really likes the way that Bryce plays the game. He likes Bryce as a person, and I mean, it really meant the world to him to hear someone like Bryce Harper kind of say that. He also said that we talked about Bryce Harper being like the perfect guy for Philadelphia, right? I mean, as much as we as Diamondbacks fans might see him as a villain, that city has absolutely embraced him, and
he lives up to pressure.
And Seawalk's a Pennsylvania guy. He's a Philly guy, so like he knew the minute that it signed that was going to be a guy that embraced the community and that the community embraced for his work ethic and his attitude and the way he is. And it was really cool to see how much mutual respect Christian Walker has for Bryce Harper. And of course, like I said, if you go watch that video, you'll see the respect that Bryce Harper has for Christian Walker. I mean, he basically just kind of labels Christian Walker as the blueprint for what a first baseman should be defensively, and it's been something we've been saying about him for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way that things roll in Arizona here, right? A lot of our guys seem to fly under the radar. Even when he was here, Paul Goldschmidt, I understand that he finished top 3, top 2 in MVP voting twice while he was here.
Right.
People knew who Paul Goldschmidt was. He was a household name. However, did people really know how good Paul Goldschmidt was?
Yeah.
And it's the same with Christian Walker, right?
Yeah.
Like, Christian Walker has flown as maybe a top 5 first baseman over the last 2 or 3 seasons, and you very rarely hear national media speaking about him. Media, other teams' fans, like, I'm sure the Dodgers fans talk about him.
Oh, you Dodgers fans absolutely talk about him.
However, I really think that there are still people who truly don't know how good he is.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm okay with it, but at the same time, like, these guys, there are 0.1% of athletes that make it to this level. And it's truly kind of disheartening sometimes to see a guy like Christian Walker not get the recognition that he deserves on the national scope.
Sure. Well, I did ask him how his break was, and he said not long enough. So he really enjoyed himself.
He enjoyed the break.
Because
you would have asked him if he went to the All-Star game, and he would have been like,
yeah,
I didn't get a break, Derek.
Yeah, right. And I mean, honestly, 162-game season, I think these guys really do appreciate the time that they get whenever they do get time. Torey talked about that, again, with the ability for him to have a night like he had on Friday and go out and see his son manage a baseball game, sit in the stands, eat Dippin' Dots. Torey ate Dippin' Dots.
Yeah, he did eat Dippin' Dots.
And he watched some baseball, and he just got to take in the game. And I think, like, again, we asked him, how long has it been since the last time you've done this? It's a very long time, he said. And he basically described the last time he went out. It was when he was with the Boston Red Sox, and his son was still playing. And, again, it's this life, and I'm going to say this in a weird way, like as if I know what this life is like, but I will say that on this trip, we've now been away from Phoenix for 7 days. I miss my wife a tremendous amount.
I was going to say, Derek, I don't know how much longer.
I don't even know what day it is anymore. I didn't know it was a Saturday. I don't even know any. This just keeps moving, and it's so fast. And I mean, this is just us gone for the All-Star break and one series. The life that these baseball players live, kind of moving around and such, it just never stops, and they never have a chance, I don't think, to just sit around and appreciate this game that they play. And I hope that Torey had that chance, and I hope, again, that the break for the guys gave them that little bit of rest that they needed, but maybe a little bit of, just that time to reflect,
I mean, everybody needs a rest.
I need a rest.
Yeah.
I need to sleep more than 4 hours in a night.
I mean, our job, while at times is demanding, it's funny, we complain, we're so tired, we've been walking around this city all day. These guys, for probably some almost 200 straight days, are working out every single day, swinging a bat every single day, throwing thousands of pitches, running all over a baseball. I mean, you're talking about high-intensity workouts, and it doesn't stop during their off-season either. I mean, they're still working out, maybe not as much. Maybe they're trying to give their body some time to recover. But I can't imagine how tiring it is. Obviously, you're not sleeping in your bed half the year. You're not with your family half the year. I mean, it is a grueling profession.
Yeah, it really is.
Sometimes I sit there and I'm like, man, I complained about the fact that I had to walk 5 minutes off the train today to go get a beef sandwich, and I got really tired and my ankles hurt. But man,
but that beef sandwich was really good.
Sure,
at Mr. Beef.
Sure, but it's like, man, hats off to them. That's hard to do. It's not easy. They deserve every break that they can get, and we know that we criticize them from time to time for how they're performing in their job.
Right.
But it is one of the hardest jobs in the world.
It is. And I mean, again, you talk about another, going back to Christian Walker, that's just an underappreciated position. Defensively, you do not get the love when you're a great defensive first baseman like Christian Walker is that he deserves, right? And so that's one of the reasons why it's cool to see Bryce Harper making these comments. It also worries me, again, because Christian Walker is a free agent after the end of this year. And as far as flying out under the radar, that's the time where you would like to see him fly under the radar. That's the time you would like to see teams not notice him. But I guarantee you, teams know what Christian Walker is. Even if he's not getting that recognition by going to the All-Star game, teams know what Christian Walker is, and he's going to be a valuable commodity at the end of the season. And the Diamondbacks need to do everything they can to bring him back. They really do.
Yeah, I mean, you need him to spend the rest of his career in Arizona.
It feels like that about a couple of guys, right? I mean, start to feel that way about Ketel. You want Corbin here for the rest of the year. I know every single one of you wants Eugenio Suarez to retire as a Diamondback. Don't lie. You know it's true. But most of you, it's right now is when you want him to retire and not at a later time. But, I mean, of course, the Diamondbacks have some priorities. And they're not going to be able to bring everybody back. They're not going to be able to bring everybody, on a long-term deal.
No,
so.
and that's just the way of life in this industry. You love guys, but at the end of the day, it's all about what gets written down on a piece of paper.
Yeah. And I hate to say it, but I will say that Christian Walker is going to be a name that a lot of teams are going to be pursuing. However, we still have him. And the Diamondbacks still have a chance this year to make this year very special. And at the very least, if anything is going to happen where Christian Walker goes on to another franchise, hopefully we can make this a very special run in the playoffs and, end his tenure in the Diamondbacks with a championship. But we're not there yet. We're a long way from
Tomorrow is game what number, Derek?
Tomorrow is game number 100.
That means there's still 62 games left after that.
He's right, and not only that, but hopefully a playoff run to come beyond that. But this is going to be, a big test, and honestly a hot start for this team. They can really, get things rolling in the right way. They have Kansas City after this, and I mean Pittsburgh. We have to deal with all the things that, Strami taught Paul Skeens. I'm
horrified.
I told him. I was horrified. Why are you telling Paul Skeens all this stuff? Strami, I don't know. He's just a good guy. This team's full of good guys. But, of course, we thank you guys again so much for being here. Of course, if you are not a PHNX diehard, I implore you to check out our diehard membership. Become part of the family. It pays for itself. Get yourself a free T-shirt from the PHNXlocker.com. One thing I love that I saw somebody say was they've been a member and their membership is coming up, and they can't wait to renew so that they could pick out their free T-shirt. That's a great way to look at it. I mean, I kind of just buy this stuff without even. I don't wait for anything. I just buy stuff now. I don't wait for my birthday. I don't I'm a terrible person to buy gifts for. I'll tell you that now. But you can be much more patient than I am. Get yourself a T-shirt. Get yourself a free shirt every year. Not only that, but you get access to all of our written content and our premium content through Discord. We have lots of videos, lots of stuff. I think we did
We've been trying to throw some
we got
stuff
some
in the
barbecue
Discord.
review for you guys, other stuff, so make sure to join us in the Discord. We got lots of fun stuff coming up. Not to mention the fact that you get discounts on events and you get access to everything we have to offer here. Just become part of the family. Also, check out Circle K because they are part of our family and they should be part of your family as well. Circle K is everywhere in the Valley, and of course that makes it easy for you to stop no matter where you're at to get yourself some gas, get yourself a 79-cent Froster, 79-cent Polar Pop from now until September 3rd. Not to mention, join the Inner Circle. They have cheap gas, but you'll get even cheaper gas. You'll save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups when you join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. You also save 3 cents per gallon every day after that. You'll get a buy one, get one, buy 5, get a 6th one free on a selection of Circle K products, not to mention a wide variety of other discounts through the app. Also, check out our friends at Shady Rays, which I could use a good pair of Shady Rays sunglasses right now with these studio lights on the Jacob. They are so bright.
Do you like looking pretty?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I ever look pretty. Maybe.
Do you like looking pretty?
Maybe cute. Maybe I look cute at times, but of course I could look even cuter.
Did you put your makeup on?
With a pair of Shady Rays. I didn't put my. That's why I'm so red. I'm so red and I'm sweaty.
Where's your makeup
I'm
team?
Hot.
We didn't bring them on the trip.
Oh my God! But I need my sunglasses because that will at least cover up a lot of what I got going on here. Shady Rays is an independent sunglass company that offers a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades are durable. They have crystal clear optics, and of course, you're not going to pay nearly as much for similar quality sunglasses elsewhere. They have hundreds of styles to choose from, so they have something to fit your face. And of course, get yourself those crystal clear optics and the craziest, protection plan in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by a lost or broken replacement plan, or if you lose or break your Shady Rays, even on day one, they will send you out a brand new pair. No questions asked, no shame heaped upon you. Jacob shamed me in Texas for not finishing my sides at a barbecue place. Jesse shames me for the shirts I wear when I have a press pass to a baseball game. I get sick of this shame, and that's something that Shady Rays won't do. They won't shame you at all. They'll just send you out a brand new pair of sunglasses. So exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
Well, a lot of people.
It is a lot of people. Is Jesse here yet?
No, Jesse was still sending. It seems like he's done sending stuff, so let me go check the back room for Jesse.
Jesse doesn't seem
I have to check behind the door.
Yeah, did he get lost? He's not here
Yeah,
yet.
he's not knocking yet either.
All right, well, we do have some videos from the clubhouse, of course, so before Jesse gets here, we can take a look at those. We have Zac Gallen here on his outing, which of course we know was not ideal, but again, still 5 innings scoreless, pretty damn good. Here's what Gallen had to say about his day.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of odd. I mean, considering the 6 walks, I felt pretty sharp. I mean, I felt probably the most under control, in control of like my body and how I was moving, and I feel like I had a feel for all 5 pitches today, which is good, which is probably kind of odd to say even with 6 walks, but yeah, I mean, it was a grind, but I had to go out there and try and throw up a 0, and I couldn't let them get back in the game after we scored 3. So yeah, I mean, obviously the 6 walks are annoying, especially with 2 outs, but the one to Morel in that inning was, we're picking my spots on guys that I felt like I matched up a little bit better against.
Well, he was throwing all of his pitches, but that's interesting to hear him say, because I honestly thought that he would probably have said something about not being able to throw something, not having control of something. That didn't seem to be the case tonight. He threw his four-seam fastball, his changeup, his knuckle curve. The only pitchers he really abandoned was his slider and his cutter, which he doesn't really throw, nearly as often. But I don't know. What are your thoughts? I mean, he threw his knuckle curve 21% of the time, changeup 31%, fastball 41%.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little interesting. Like he said, he feels like he had a feel for all 5 pitches. He just wasn't landing them, I guess. And Gallen, at times, I've always said this, he can get a little nitpicky here and there. That's his biggest thing, right? He feels like he can hit every corner. And so sometimes he doesn't just go directly at somebody, right?
Yeah.
Which can get him in some trouble. And tonight it ran him into some trouble, but he's able to maneuver around it because of how talented he is. I mean, I don't know why the crowd was up in arms. I get it. You're at an opposing ballpark. The fans are all drinking. Everybody wants Seiya Suzuki to have not gone around on that 3-2 pitch. You've got bases loaded, nobody out. And Seiya,
he totally went around on that
Seiya definitely
pitch.
Went around if you watched it. He was in a lot of trouble. We do have a guest in the back room now. He is officially in the back room.
He's here?
Waiting to be let in.
Oh, my God. I guess. Let him in.
He's getting himself ready.
All right.
He's putting on his makeup. And
Bunch of
I'm now adding him
on
to the
the
screen.
show.
We have Jesse Friedman joining us.
Well, it's the one and only Thunderstick. Well, it's my vice mayor, Mr. Jesse Friedman. Jesse, what a weird night. On a night where it really didn't seem like Zac Gallen had his best stuff. We just watched the video from the clubhouse where he said he felt like he had good command over, or like good pitches all night long, but just wasn't really landing them. What are your thoughts on what we saw of Zac Gallen tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I guess having good stuff and having good command are kind of two different things, right? So yeah, Gallen did say that he had good feel for all 5 of his pitches and seemed to be pretty happy with how those pitches were going today, especially the changeup. The changeup was, I think he had 8 whiffs on the changeup today. I don't have it in front of me. I'm sure that's a season high for him. That was a really effective pitch today. But yeah, the command was not great, Derek. I don't know if I've ever seen Zac Gallen's command quite this off. He wasn't spraying the ball around like to a super concerning degree. It's not like he was missing by 3 feet or anything like that, but he was consistently missing his spots on the edges of the zone. And yeah, it was a weird outing for him. I mean, to go through that, to match his career high in walks with 6 and still come away with 5 scoreless innings. It was a brutal outing, and yet also it was pretty impressive for him to go out and find a way to do that anyway.
I think that's the thing, is like there were some Diamondbacks fans that were very concerned, and understandably so after his last outing. But at the end of the day, Zac Gallen went out there and threw 5 scoreless innings, and I know that it's not as, it's not as long, it's not as deep as we would like to see him go, but you still got to chalk it up as a pretty good day on the mound.
Yeah, I mean, 5 scoreless innings is 5 scoreless innings, right? That's ultimately all that matters. No matter what the optics were, no matter how many pitches he actually threw in the zone for a strike today, which was not very many,
right.
He was still able to go out there and be really effective in this game. Yeah, I mean, it was 54 of his 102 pitches were strikes in this game. That's about 53%. That is the second lowest strike rate in a start for Zac Gallen in his career. I think it was a start in July of 2020 where it was actually lower than that. So it's been about 4 years since Zac Gallen was all over the place to this extent in a game, and at the same time he was able to go out and give the Diamondbacks exactly what they needed. So yeah, it continues to be a kind of a bizarre stretch for him, right? I mean, his last 3 starts going into the break were not good. This start was good results-wise. You'd certainly like to get more than 5 innings out of your ace. Getting deep into games has been a challenge lately, and he expressed some frustration with that. But, the D-backs bullpen, Derek, continues to be very, very good at the back end, and they were able to come in today, and Paul Sewald is the only guy who allowed a base runner out of the D-backs bullpen tonight. It was really impressive stuff.
Just certified G's and bona fide studs, Jesse, putting up zeros on the board. all around for the Diamondbacks bullpen. But when it came to Gallen, I know that his fastball location was off, and he wasn't really able. There's a lot of fastballs that landed outside of the zone.
Yeah, there were a lot of fastballs outside of the zone. I think his zone rate for the fastball, so like the percentage of fastball, 38%. And yeah, Jacob's putting up a handy graphic that we have here. This is, if you're joining us here on YouTube, this is the locations of every fastball that Gallen threw tonight. And you can see there's just a lot of pitches that are clearly balls. They're not, they're, like I said earlier, they're not several feet off of the plate or anything like that. But he was really having a hard time hitting that outside corner to right-handed hitters. And I don't know if there's anything that Gallen does better in general than fastball command. There's a reason that he is so effective with a fastball in the low mid-90s. It's because he throws the pitch pretty much exactly where he wants to a lot of the time. And even though he wasn't able to do that in this game, he was still able to show just kind of the variety of weapons that he has. It was enough to keep Cubs hitters off balance. Good on Cubs hitters for not swinging and kind of getting themselves out in some of those situations. They really made Gallen work for it. But he showed today, why he is regarded the way that he is in this game. He's an ace, and aces are going to take starts like this. Games where they don't maybe they have good stuff, but they don't have good command of that stuff, and they're still able to go out and put up good results.
Well, Gallen. Obviously, you spoke to him in the clubhouse. We showed his video there a little while ago of him talking about having command of all of his pitches, or being able to throw all of his pitches. But any chance that the All-Star break here impacted him at all?
Yeah, it's interesting you asked that. That was kind of a topic of discussion after the game. On paper, it happened at an unfortunate time for the D-backs, right? Because they were really cruising, and then the All-Star break comes, and you wonder if you might actually lose a little bit of your momentum because of the All-Star break being when it was. Gallen was asked about that after tonight's game, and here's what he had to say.
I don't know. I think mentally we were in need of a break. I think everyone is. Yeah, obviously you get hot. It kind of comes at not the greatest time, but I think so far we've showed some maturity. I think last year we kind of fell into that trap of we were playing really well, and then you get to the break and it's like, oh, are we, we're how many games over 500 at the break? And I think this year we kind of saw what that did to us last year, and it seemed like guys, made a point to, come out and keep pushing forward. The season's not over yet. So, yeah, I mean, obviously we would have loved to have just been to continue to keep playing, but I think it's just good to kind of get a mental and physical reset, and prepare for the second half.
Well, and I think the Diamondbacks have come out okay so far. I mean, obviously we know that the All-Star break wasn't great for them, but it also wasn't really great for the Cubs. The Cubs were also very hot kind of coming into the All-Star break, and I've had a chance to speak to a lot of frustrated Cubs fans watching this offense go out there against the Diamondbacks in the last two games and put up 2 runs total.
Are speaking of Cubs fans, Derek, are they drinking their sorrows away right now?
Oh yeah,
we've been stared at.
We
quite
are here
heavily.
at Almost Home, and yeah,
it's like we're in a fishbowl.
There was at one point a gentleman who was just staring at me over Jacob's shoulder because he knew when I looked at Jacob that I would look over at him, and I don't know why he was doing that, but I'm still terrified that he might be somewhere in this bar.
No, I think he left.
Okay, good. That's a good thing, but of course. Another good thing is that the Diamondbacks continue to beat the Cubs here while we are here in Chicago. Jesse, my biggest question for you, are we the good luck charms? Is Torey going to take me to Kansas City with him now? Do I need to adjust my schedule because...
Do you want to go to Kansas City?
Hey, look, I will do whatever I need to do to help this team win, and we've already had Texas barbecue, so why not some Kansas City barbecue? I am not opposed to that, Jesse.
Yeah, I think both of us as a package deal, Derek. We don't get a chance to travel quite everywhere for this Diamondbacks team, but yeah, us being here, obviously they've won a couple of games. They had some success against the Blue Jays while we were in Dallas for the All-Star break.
True.
And even earlier this season, like I haven't been on the road all that much this season. But the Diamondbacks, they split a series with the Padres. They beat the Padres 2 out of 3. I went to both of the Dodgers series on the road. The D-backs won both of those series. So
it feels right.
The D-backs, when PHNX is represented on the road, appear to be a bit of a wagon baseball team. Derek. I don't know how else to say it. But
he said the thing.
He said it.
He said it. 25-16 since June 1st. 10-4 in the month of July. Diamondbacks are getting the job done. Jesse, of course, we have more from the clubhouse. What did Torey have to say on today's win?
Yeah, well, let's find out.
Let's find out.
Here's Torey's opening statement.
It was a great win. You win a series after the second game. It sets you up for a good day 3. So I think the guys will enjoy this win. We got to come out tomorrow and do what we can do to win that final game. We've talked about what does it look like after game 2 of a series, whether you're down 2-0 or you're even, or if you're ahead 2-0. You want to go out and play your best game on that final day and leave town the right way. So we'll be ready to go. It was a great win today. Zac, I think, didn't have his absolute best fastball command. I think there were balls that were just off the edge of the zone, and he couldn't get the call, and he couldn't get the hitters to offer at it. But he did enough to make pitches, and he gave up 0 runs in 5 innings. So I think it's a huge outing for him. He turned it over to the bullpen, and they did a really nice job. So I see J Mark get back in there, and cruise through his inning after yesterday's struggle. So those were some learning moments, and it was nice to see him go back out there as comfortably as he did. 2 solo home runs, one by AT. It's nice to come home and hit a home run in front of his home crowd, home and his family. And then Corbin put a really good swing on a pitcher that's typically been very tough on him. It was just a down ball. I don't know if it was a changeup or fastball. Got some extension and gave us that 3-0 lead. So great win. Enjoy it. Quick turnaround. Got to be ready tomorrow.
It really was a great win. And, of course, the one thing we confirm based on this win is that Cody Del Mendo's dog does not know ball. Right, Jacob?
He had me scared this morning.
Right?
I'm not going to lie. He had me a little scared. He was like, my dog, when we play catch, they're 3-0.
Yeah, not anymore.
Not anymore,
not
buddy.
anymore, buddy.
It was Galentine's Day.
Sorry. Yeah,
Cody.
It was Galentine's Day. Your dog said Kyle Hendricks was going to shove, and your dog lied, is what I'm saying. But, Jesse, I miss my dog very much. Very much.
Derek,
What?
To be fair, Kyle Hendricks was pretty good for the first 3 innings of this game.
He really was.
Came off a
And then Alek Thomas.
Innings. Right. It didn't ultimately last. He did put up several zeros, and then in the 5th inning, D-backs got him with a couple of homers. His command seemed to kind of fall apart. But
I still don't know if that Alek Thomas one. Sorry, go ahead. We're delayed, but I was going to say I still don't know if that Alek. The delay's terrible.
The delay is fantastic. 5 innings, 3 runs for Kyle Hendricks, what I was going to say, is actually a pretty decent outcome. Like, ultimately, the Cubs only gave up 3 runs in this game. So the fact that the Diamondbacks were able to limit the Cubs to no runs, I mean, that's really the big narrative in this one for me.
Jesse, I have a question for you, and you don't have to answer this right now, but somebody in the chat wants to know when the last time Zac Gallen gave up a run at Wrigley was. I'm going to send you on a wild goose chase tonight to find that number, because he threw a complete game shutout the last time he was here. So we're now 14 straight scoreless innings for Zac Gallen at Wrigley Field.
That's pretty good. That sounds pretty good.
Question.
Jesse, of course, we also know the fact that this team has a chance to do something very rare tomorrow. That's get the sweep. They only have 1 sweep this season. I know it really doesn't matter because now the Diamondbacks sit, at a pretty decent record. It's not great, but their record is, they're 2 games above 500 now. Like the 3 games above 500. But I mean, again, how important is it that the Diamondbacks can kind of take care of business here tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that you said the word sweep, Derek, I think they're kind of doomed, frankly.
God damn it!
Because
I said it a lot earlier, Jesse. I said it.
Everybody boo this man.
Boo me.
I did just look up Gallen's last few starts against the Cubs, specifically here at Wrigley Field. He gave up 1 run over 5 innings at Wrigley Field when he started here in May of 2022. So that would have been the last time he allowed a run in this ballpark. But that was a very good outing still. I mean, 5 scoreless today, 9, obviously a complete game shutout his last time out here, and then 5 innings of 1-run ball here in May of 2022. So Gallen has really pitched well in this ballpark, and the Diamondbacks have played really well in this ballpark as well. I think I saw in the Cubs game notes they're 7-2, I believe, in their last 9 games here at Wrigley, which goes back, I want to say, to the start of the 2022 season, something around there. So this would make it 8-2 that the D-backs are at Wrigley Field here in their last 10 games. So I don't know what is, but D-backs have really played here at Wrigley and have very much played well against the Cubs here over these last couple of seasons.
Well, with their 3-0 win tonight, the Diamondbacks are 3 games above 500 for the first time this season, and they have now won 12 of their last 17 games. The D-backs have now won or split their last 6 series. They are 5-0-1, including that split with the Atlanta Braves. And additionally to that, tonight marks the D-backs' second shutout at Cubs since last season on September 8, 2023, where they won 1-0. One thing that these Cubs fans absolutely do not forget, Jesse, is the way that the Diamondbacks absolutely rolled over them late in the season when they had 2 series against the Cubs. I still think back to that time, and I still remember thinking, wow, we really have, 6 games coming up against the Cubs. That does not look good, because they were playing very good baseball at that point. And I did not know this until this trip, until being out here talking to them, that a lot of Cubs fans blame that series with the Diamondbacks for being where things completely unraveled for them and fell apart.
Well, there were a lot of chaotic games in that series. I mean, it
Yes.
wasn't like the D-backs just came in and beat the Cubs.
Dominated, right?
I guess, yeah. If you include both that series won at Chase Field a couple of weeks later, D-backs took 6 out of 7. A lot of those games really could have gone either way. I think about the Evan Longoria slide in the 13th inning or whatever that was in that one game at Chase Field. So
yeah.
There were a lot of very close games that the Diamondbacks just found a way to win, pretty much every single one of them. So this Cubs team's in a tough spot right now. I mean, they came in 47-52, so now they dropped to 6 games under 500 with the loss. The trade deadline, obviously, just 10 days away, Derek. I'm not so sure that the Cubs are really in position to hold on to pieces. I guess they don't have a whole lot of guys that are expiring right now, so selling for them might not be all that drastic of a move anyway. Cody Bellinger would probably be the most interesting piece there if they decided to try to move him. But
I have an idea.
It'd be interesting to see what that would look like.
Give us Shota Imanaga. Who says no? Anyone say no? Do you say no over there? This guy says yes over here. He's down to trade him. I don't know. I want Mike. I'm still not over the fact that we talked about Shota Imanaga as much as we did during the offseason, and then he ended up being as good of a pitcher as he is. But that's all behind us now, Jesse. All we have now left is one more game here in Chicago. But, of course, we will be back here with post-game coverage on Sunday after this series wraps up, so make sure to come back here. But before we do that, we know that I lie. We know Jacob lies. We know Jesse even lies, even though he pretends not to lie. But we know the numbers. They never lie. So let's take a look at tonight's number that don't lie. Jesse, what do you got for us tonight?
Tonight's number, Derek, is 418. That represents the distance of Corbin Carroll's 2-run home run in the 5th inning that really broke this game open. D-backs, of course, already had a 1-0 lead at that point, but Corbin made it a little bit more comfortable with that swing. And 418 feet, Derek, that is the longest batted ball that Corbin has this season. Only once has Corbin reached the 400-foot threshold on a ball this year. It was actually a flyout against the Los Angeles Dodgers, I think to straightaway center field or something like that. All of his homers up to this point, this was his 6th homer of the season, but the homers that he had entering today, a lot of them were kind of in the wall scraper category. He hadn't really, just destroyed a baseball well into the seats. And granted, Corbin's a smaller guy. He's not going to be hitting 470-foot homers all the time or anything like that. He doesn't have the power that a Christian Walker or, even a right-handed Ketel Marte might have. But he does have really, really good bat speed and the ability to really put a charge into a ball when he gets to one. And we saw that tonight. We saw Corbin really, really get into a baseball and hit it 418 feet. And what especially stands out for me is that he hit it to the pull side. This is something we haven't seen Corbin do all that much this season. A lot of his homers have been to the opposite field. He had one also recently that was a pulled home run as well. And I think it's a sign, it's a good sign for him just to see him pulling the ball with authority once again. He has only 9 batted balls this season that have been fly balls to the pull side, and 4 of those have come here in the last 2 weeks. So a good sign for Corbin that maybe he's kind of figuring things out. I know he was just 1 for 5 in this game, but that home run was really important. And, if he can start tapping into that power a little bit more and really putting a charge into the ball, especially to the pull side, it can make a big difference.
Well, something they were talking about on the broadcast was, the fact that you don't have to necessarily have pull power in this stadium in order to hit a home run, and we definitely saw that today. We saw Corbin kind of do his thing, and of course Alek Thomas's home run, if you want to call it that, also went out. But we're going to talk to Alek tomorrow more about that home run and his entire week that he's had here in Chicago. So looking forward to bringing you guys that and so much more here before we come home on Monday, which I am still not ready to do, despite the fact that I'm totally sharing a bed with Jacob for the next 2 nights. But we do thank you guys and love you guys so much for joining us and being here tonight. Of course, if you have not subscribed to us, to the YouTube channel yet, do so now. If you haven't followed us yet on Twitter, make sure to do that as well. I am at Cap_Caveman with a K. Jesse is at Jesse and Friedman. Of course, Faj, he is at Jacob_Franklin 4 because he is the fourth best Jacob Franklin in known existence. And of course, we still don't know what those other 3 did to get ranked above him.
It has to be something pretty spectacular.
This man works tirelessly. He's a wonderful father, and he's a wonderful person. Sometimes. Other times he's a bad guy. He's a very bad guy at other times. But, of course, our show is at PHNX_DBacks, but all roads do lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys so much for joining us. We appreciate your time. We will see you back here tomorrow for one more post-game show from Almost Home right here in Chicago. We thank you again for being here, for being Diamondbacks fans. We love you guys so much. We will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful night. And in the meantime, remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you keep winning series.
We all silly like the mayor.